Hey everybody, welcome back to another week of the power rankings. This was week 4. This is a little bit late. Ryan's a bit busy this week, so I'm handling it on my own. This week is the first week we're kind of implementing a lot of power ranking structure in the sense of where you placed. So in the standings, if you're looking at it here, you've got, someone who lost this week but is still second in their division, really third or so overall. And so, like, even though they lost, it's like, can you really put them that far down? Because, like, I think that's something that we had been doing in previous weeks, where it's like, if you look over here, like Lewis is down here. That was obviously week 1. But like even last week, like Faded was 13. This week we're kind of more implementing where you placed, because Faded is now here. He's third in his division. So it's like it's kind of a taking it into consideration fact. So to get started, we've got Clay. Clay, you face me, so I was gonna have Ryan talk about this, but you are still down here, and it was a 5-0. You did have some chances to make some good moves, but there was just a few missteps that just didn't end up working very well in your favor. I thought Scyther could have been used a little bit better. Obviously, sacking it off early on was not the greatest. Kyron Black still hasn't found a place in your team yet, as it hasn't really done much offensively, with really nothing to show for it being brung. Where it is, yeah, brought every match, no kills. I just think that, being probably the best Pokemon in the league, it needs to probably bring a little bit more power. So that's why you're there. Brian, this week you fought an 0-3 team. Back-to-back weeks fighting fighting winless teams and losing both times. This match wasn't even very good. Kian didn't even play that great. Yeah, he made some mistakes. But yeah, like letting you set up here was pretty crazy. But then again, you also set up Aerodactyl this well, and you still weren't able to capitalize. So that kind of stuff happens. But you just you gotta fix that issue there, man. A little bit. Sub there. Rock slide. Yeah, letting him set up the sandstorm was a very big thing there, because I mean it made you switch out. But yeah, so either way, got to get a win, especially again against a winless team. You may not have had the best matchup against him, but still got to get that. Pitt, you gave up straight up. You gave up halfway through. You were fighting a winless team as well, and you gave up halfway through your match, man. Like, I understand that you weren't happy with your team, but like, it is a team that you chose, and you have a great core still with Zygarde and Celesteela. Even though you got rid of Zeraora, you have Raikou, so you still have that core virtually. You're able to do well with it, but yeah. Then again, Daly did just make trades this week for Como and Victini, so big up move on his set to get rid of Infernape and Latios to get Victini and Como-O. It was a really big move, and it ended up working out well for him. But Pitt, you got to finish out that fight. Can't get 4-0'd like that against a winless team. You got put down there. Parker, yeah, kind of the same thing, but not really. I mean, Parker, you played better than you did last week. But I would say that you had the matchup here in some senses, but I mean, you ended up trying to do later a stall battle between Toxapex and Slowbro. And here's the reason why you're low, because you didn't play bad per se throughout the whole thing. But what you did is you left your win con to come out when everything else is dead and it had no other switch-ins. Because this guy sweeps his team, bro. Like, with Donphan dead, or Bisharp dead, I mean, like, it's insane how good this thing is against his team. And he even gave you Volcarona for free. He gave up a PP point. I don't really know why. Maybe for the regenerator on Slowbro, but, I mean... And you played that well, too. But he obviously outsped, so... And you chipped yourself down a little bit too low. Yeah. If you had brought out Diancie earlier, I think this is a completely different match. Straight up. Ray. This week, you went to 1-3. You did play Will. Will being one of the better teams in the league. But you're 1-3, and you did play well. So that's kind of why you're above the other guys who lost and were around the same ranking as you. I think Pitt even has a better record, but yeah, Pitt's 2-2, but you are 1-3, -4. It's not a bad record because I mean it's better than most people up in the bottom of Sun. So that being taken into account of even though you lost, I can't put you above the next two, and then everyone above you just has a much better record. Really, that's it, because you didn't play bad. You did pretty well at using your team here against Will. I mean, you're able to start out offensively against him quite well. Oh, the sub move with Infiltrator Whimsicott was such a great move, honestly, because knowing that he has set up sub in the past was a great bring. And then Mega Aggron is such a wall just in general. It just didn't play out very well for you because of this guy. This guy just is really good. And the Shadow Sneak priority move against your team just worked way too well. Yeah. Where is it? Here. Jolteon kills there. And he switches in. I don't know. I think in that situation, you just gotta, especially knowing. I don't know if you had a defogger or a rapid spinner, but knowing you're not going to switch Jolteon back in, really. Well, there you go. You switch him back in, and the Shadow Sneak is there. So it's just like at that point, I would have just said, use whatever you got to hit Gallade as hard as you can, so that way it takes the chip damage early, knowing that at some point he's probably going to use CC, and maybe try and know that the CC's coming and just chip away on him, or switching into Miss Magius and things like that. Yeah, either way, it just felt like your team was chipped way too much and you had nothing to touch Gallade at that point. But yeah, I mean, you played well, you pushed him into that corner. Daily, you got your first win. You did play against where is it? Oh yeah, against Pitt. And Pitt kind of gave up on you. But nonetheless, it was a 4-0 win. It was a good match. I just want to see a lot more out of your team. I put you up at 10 this week because I think you're right at the cusp of being able to break through and jump up. But you just gotta, I think, who do you play this week? You got Lewis. If you can definitely run through Lewis, I mean, he's the guy right above you. That's showing that your team has, in fact, improved and that you're able to make that jump into the better players of the league, especially with the trades that you made with your team. Your team is 1,000% better than when it started. The Latios move was a bit scary because you're losing Latios, but I think you fixed it well with a good Victini and Como duo, and I think you'll be able to move up from here. Lewis, you did lose this week to other Lewis. That was a pretty crazy match overall. Your team definitely improved this week, and I think it helped your chances. This move right here, just boneheaded, man. You know this thing is going to be Scarf coming into this week. I can understand the doubt that you may have had, seeing that he brought Stealth Rocks on it, but it was the Stealth Rocks lead, you know, so like, Where is it? I guess it wasn't lead. My bad. It was a turn 3 came in. Stealth rocks on you and switches right out. Because, yeah, I mean, it just... You just got to know it's got to be Scarf against your team. Because, I mean, this outspeeds. And those two things can royally mess him up. But if he's Scarf, then they are easy revenge kills. But yeah, so you gotta figure that out. Once again, sacking Empoleon. But I mean, I guess that was at the time the best move. You could have gone into Clef, but and then the pursuit instead of the crunch. If it was a crunch, you would have killed, and that changes a lot there. But I think the biggest part of it is obviously you let yourself get down to your last two with a really highly chipped Infernape, where it's about to get 2 spikes, so it dies to the spikes anyways. Smart move from this Ryan by paralyzing you and not toxicking you. But I mean, in the end, he ended up sweeping you. I mean, you end up sweeping basically up to this point with the Calm Mind setup, which was pretty crazy. Landorus being his last physical attacker, really just wanted to get you in that area, and you were smart about that, letting yourself be able to survive down to there to kill it by getting yourself health back up. But here was the kicker. He's setting up Calm Mind on Suicune. And instead of hitting, Soft Boil. And I think it just... I think you were unaware, but if you were... I don't know, man. It's just... This one hurts because the pressure literally worked out perfectly to PP stall you, and that's what happens here. Just sad. But yeah, so you didn't play horribly, but you played pretty bad early in the match, allowing the other Lewis to get a little bit better, especially with that PP stall. Ryan and Kenny, you guys both lost this week, but you did both also lose to the only 2 undefeated teams in the league, and your teams are doing pretty good so far as well. I mean, you're 2-2 and you're 3-1, which is why, Saber, you can't be higher than Kenny, even though you played a closer match, I believe, 3-0 and then a 2-0. It was a good match all the way through. There were some weird plays that I remember. Sacking the Zeraora didn't need to happen. Zeraora could have definitely been brought back in, especially with the Cloyster still there, you know. Obviously, you do have Vaporeon for the Cloyster if that's the thing, but, you know. And then the Parahax is just the play there. Don't know why there wasn't a Thunder Wave right away, but I mean, I guess he just wanted to do the damage, and he was landing the flinches. There's that. Yeah, this game was just kind of all over the place. It was, I mean, I don't think either team specifically played bad, you know? Substitute on the Togekiss. Oh. Acrobatics doesn't kill. Acrobatics kills there. The Air Slash missing was pretty crazy. Drain Punch, oof. With the Icicle Spear. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. Yeah. The mixed attacking on the Cloyster was pretty good too, I will say. But yeah, I mean, once Lele was gone, this guy and this guy really just kind of run free. So Yeah. Kenny, your match happened so long ago. I barely even remember it, honestly, because you guys played like Sunday morning. I feel like Rocky helmet wash. Yeah, misses the pump. I feel like there was like some crazy tech moves in here at some point, but I forget. Magma Storm to trap the Sylveon. Pretty nuts. Taunt on it. Oh man. Flash Cannon just kills. Yeah. Basically just abused that Sylveon. And then here's this guy. He's gonna sub right away, which is incredibly interesting. I mean, yeah. Boom, boom. Double hit. Doesn't kill. Magma Storm traps it in. Drain Punch. There we go. Now at this point, I think, well, yeah, that just comes in. Yep. Hits the Rocky Helmet twice. Defog does not work. Dragon Dance on the Latios is coming in. T-Wave hits it, though. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember. Where is it? There it is. Here's the tech play. Ice Beam, Zen Headbutt, but it was because this guy lived earlier, right? That was the big thing. Yeah. Here it is. Yawn. Well. Oh yeah, no. I remember what the thing was. This was Sash Nidoking, but having to switch in on the rocks scared him a lot. But because the para, it was like, yeah, it's fine. Staraptor just comes in and at this point cleans up, I believe. I don't think there's anything he could have done. I remember us just sitting on this move for like 20 minutes, I feel like. Yeah, boom. And last one. Yep. Boom. Yep. So overall, neither team played bad. I think just there's some weird moves, but Pupper played really well, especially with Heatran. Heatran just completely messed these guys up. And then once Latios is in there, it just the para plus the Ice Beam, pretty crazy. Let's see. That was Kenny. Lewis, we kind of already talked about yours. You played good. The PP stall was, I would say, somewhat lucky, but you did pretty good overall, letting your team really dominate early on, getting him down to those last two. But you didn't have much left for Unaware Clefable, and you did play very smart and technically. So that's that. Baited, you're way back up in the win column. And I mean, I think was this back-to-back wins, or no? You lost last week to Will, but oh yeah, you just kind of dominated the entire way through, is what I remember. So yeah, pretty good. Yeah, you just gave up some extra PP. I mean, some extra points. It probably could have been a 3 or 4-0, really, but 3-0 more than likely if you had just not sacked that Volcarona, especially. So extra points always matter, especially here when you're in a tight race. So yeah, me, I got a 5-0, bounce back up into the win column this week. I wanted Ryan to have to go through this, but I mean, really only sacking. What did I sack? Oh yeah, this guy. I think it was a roll too, but it's okay. It was really just Necrozma there was a really big threat, honestly, and taking it out was of extreme importance. So I would rather sack this thing up. But like I said earlier, like Clay, the big mess up was here, really. because I actually prepped a lot for Swampert in the rain, because Swampert in the rain outspeeds my team, even with Scarf on my fastest Pokemon at the time. So my team now with Starmie does a little bit better, but it's okay. That guy's gone. Swampert's dead. This guy, yep. Oh yeah, Thunder for the tech with the Pelipper because it doesn't miss in rain. And I don't know where you got confused by that, but yeah, I mean, Pelipper's a physically defensive, not specially defensive Pokemon. And then Charizard just kind of cleans up with Flare Blitz because it outspeeds everything. And you revealed that you weren't Scarf on Kyron Black earlier. And then there's Ferrothorn, you know, do what you can. Yeah, that's that. Will, you played quite well. You took out Ray Ray. But, I mean, you had that reverse sweep. I think we already saw that. So the reverse sweep was crazy. You didn't play horribly leading up to that point, but you did kind of put yourself in that situation. But you were able to set it up perfectly, and from there you made no mistakes. Pupper, you beat Kenny. And this is where I was like, kind of like, where do I put one of these guys? So Pupper, you beat Kenny, and you won by 3-0. But I feel like David had a worse matchup in this week. And Ryan is always someone that it's hard to fight. I mean, with the Zerora trade, this team is pretty crazy. But what did Ryan not bring? This match also happened a while ago. Oh, Steelix is Mega, yeah. I don't know if that was something that was there, but that you were like expecting. But I mean, Zam didn't even touch the field. So that's kind of where I was like, he was able to do so without even exerting all of the force that he had left. And the team just played really well, and it didn't feel as close. Versus Puppers was a little bit closer. And it had some pretty intense moments near the end. I mean, the Staraptor, I don't think the Staraptor was any sort of roll, but I think it was, and it was banned too. Not Scarf, or maybe it was Scarf, I forget, but either way, from here, it was an interesting match. Well, I guess, yeah, we've all in Heracross weren't there too, but I don't know. That's kind of the ones that Ryan and I agreed on. And realistically, the top two are incredibly hard to figure out. I think Ryan just ended up playing a little bit better this week. So that's why we put David a little bit higher, because of the opponent. Even though Kenny is a better record, but Ryan can't be above Kenny because of the record. So either way, that is this week's power rankings from yours truly. And yeah, if you have any questions or concerns, bring them up with me and Ryan. But yeah, looking forward to next week. This is the out of divisions week. Already got one of them done, which is a crazy upset, I feel like, with the 5-0 against Will. Will was one of the front runners leading up to this, and he's down there. But yeah, I mean, we get, honestly, this is the best thing, where we get, oh, that's the wrong one. We get the number 1 and 2 power rankings, David and Pupper, playing each other out of division. Lewis has to step it up to be able to make A. Then we've got Kenny versus Parker, and Parker's really just got to get that core working against Kenny's team. What can I say about this matchup other than the jokes about him being in his basement? So yeah, fraud watch here. See if Brian can take out Ryan. Baited gets to face off against Clay, and then me against Ray Ray. All right. Thank you guys. See you guys next week.